Are you ready to be empowered with hope, faith, and confidence to believe in yourself, to overcome your fears and battle through every challenge and bully you face, both real and in your mind? Are you ready to learn life-changing strategies on how to develop the right mindset and positive mental attitude to courageously stand out in the crowd and be who you were born to be? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Building Warrior Confidence Podcast. Greetings and welcome to another uplifting, life-changing episode of the Warrior Confidence Podcast. I'm your host, Master Rich Grogan, and I'm truly grateful you're here today. Hey, if you're new to the show, it's your first time, then welcome to the show, baby. Yeah, where you been? Well, I'm just glad you're here now. And if you're back for another round of Warrior Confidence Power, then welcome back. So how are we doing today? Well, hopefully you're having a great day, and that this episode makes it even better. But, there's a chance that maybe you're not having a great day. Maybe you've got some challenges, some battles, some fears, some bullies. And that bully in your mind is the biggest bully I'm always talking about. Maybe you're faced with that today. Maybe you're, for whatever reason, boy, the hits just keep on coming. I get it. And sometimes in life, it seems that way. Well, I'm so glad you're here today, and I'm going to do everything I can to hopefully turn your day around with this episode. And I promise you, I'm going to give you everything I've got. And our time together, hopefully it's going to be empowering, valuable, educational, enjoyable, and most importantly, that you walk away feeling empowered, with the courage, warrior confidence, to believe in yourself, to persevere and battle through any of those challenges, fears, struggles, or bullies you're facing. And we're done chatting. I pray that you walk away thinking, man, I'm glad I took the time to listen, because that's something I really needed today. And then, of course, if you found value, make sure you share it with someone else. So what are we talking about today? Well, a couple tease questions I always like to start with. Here's the first one. Do you have to show up to every fight, especially on social media? Now, for us macho guys out there, like, you're darn right I got to show up for every fight. I can't back down. Someone insults me or disrespects me, I'm there, man. Or somebody challenged me to a fight, I'm there. And I talk in that voice and acting like that because for the longest time, that's exactly what I believed. So that's the question again. Do you have to show up to every fight, especially on social media? Well, think about that for a second. About this one. Does every comment and reply, especially on social media, need your attention? And how about this? This is going to be a big right hook of reality. Do you need to spend your most sacred commodity, or commodities, I guess? What are those sacred commodities? Something you can never replace. Your time and your energy, especially your time. And man, once it's gone, baby, it's gone. You can never get it back. We know that. You often hear me talk about the difference between time and money. Boy, you can always make more money, but at the end of your life, end of the day, end of the month, well, I guess go back to the end of your life, you can't buy more time. It's over, baby. And when your kids, when they get older, you can't buy more time with them when they were younger. But you can always make more money. Now, I always like to say, it never seems like you have enough money when it comes to paying bills, right? Yeah, it's like, gosh, darn it, I got to work a little extra. I get all that. But I always like to remind you that, bills, we've all got them. They all come and go. You got to pay them, yes. But think about your time, especially what we're talking about today, wasting your time battling with some knucklehead on social media. And I'll dive more into that as we move forward. And, I get it. When people are rude, mean, disrespectful, and ugly, I'm one I have zero tolerance for those things. Disrespect, meanness, ugliness, being rude, bullying, none. And it's a common challenge that I battle with. And it just so happens, big reason why I made this episode today, I've been tempted to engage again due to an extremely horrible book review I just received. And I'll talk more about that later. So while you're thinking about all the questions above, just a reminder, make sure you subscribe to the podcast and be sure to listen to previous episodes when you're done listening to this. And if you found value, man, we love those 5-star reviews. That's what helps boost us higher in the search results. And, of course, those 5-star reviews from our fans out there that love what we do, they also help kind of bury those negative reviews. Why do people leave those? Well, maybe I got to realize I'm not right for everybody. And that's also a reminder for you. You're not right for everybody. But if you do your best being right for the people you are right for, man, oh man, you can make a difference. You can make a difference. You truly can. So make sure you do those things, subscribe, like, leave those reviews. And then our YouTube channel, it's growing and growing. It's at Warrior Confidence, same name as the podcast here. And the link for everything is in the description box. So make sure you visit our YouTube channel. We've got 2 to 3 new YouTube videos popping out every single week, and they're good. I'm really happy with the quality of, a little biased here. I think the messages are great. Or they wouldn't be great. I wouldn't be wasting your time putting them out. I think I would give my heart and soul and everything I can do to empower all the listeners, because I know how valuable time is. We just talked about that, right? So I'm definitely not going to waste your time. But I got an editing company that's doing a phenomenal job with that. So jump on over to the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, ring that bell so you're notified when the YouTube videos pop out. All sound good? Awesome. Well, let's dive into today's show. Well, this is episode number 350, and I titled this episode, To Fight or Not to Fight, Navigating Social Media and Keyboard Warriors. And navigating, that's, try to find a word that I felt described that, and it's just like navigation on your GPS, right? Navigates you through traffic, navigates you the shortcuts, shows you when the red lines are when traffic's backed up. So I thought that was a great word, because we have those things on social media, navigating through it, and oftentimes, just like we get caught with those red lines in traffic, we get caught spending too much time on things we shouldn't be spending time on social media. And I'm not pointing fingers, because I'm plenty guilty, but I know that if I'm struggling with it, I know there's probably thousands of you out there that are also struggling with it. So hopefully you can learn from my lessons and not, or well, I guess, first of all, navigate the right path and not spend too much time on the keyboard warriors in the wrong path. So anyway, I asked you earlier, do you, what did I ask you earlier? Here we go. Do you show up for every fight, especially on social media? Well, do you? Every time somebody tempts you, gives you a bad review, a bad comment, bad reply, get your blood boiling, you want to jump through the computer screen and punch them dead in the face? Is that you? And you're probably saying, well, man, I'm not that violent. Well, I say that because there is oftentimes I want to do that very thing. Yeah, I know. I should be better than that. Well, it's a work in progress. It really, really is. I mean, it's one of those things, like I said, be rude, mean, ugly, disrespectful comments, hateful stuff, dishonesty. I have no tolerance for that, man. None at all. I don't tolerate from my kids or team and the students at the studio. It just, there's no need for it. But unfortunately, as much as I don't like it, as much as, well, we probably all hate it, it's a part of society. We also got to do a reflection, look in our mirror. Are we doing some of those things? Well, hopefully you're not. Hopefully you're not. But I'm just telling you how bad it burns me from all the years of being bullied, disrespected, treated poorly, mean comments, and me not doing anything about it. It's like an open wound. And after all these years, those wounds, boy, oh boy, the cut, those are deep. Those are real, real deep. And that's why I do my very, very best working with, kids and youth and teens and young adults to empower them. And then also talking, obviously, to a lot of parents and listeners here on what we can do to address those issues early. I call them weeds in your mental garden. We got to get those babies dug up before they dig in. Like I talk about, I had for 40 plus years, weeds of negativity and self-doubt and limiting belief. Not believing in myself, believing that I was worthless, believing that I was no good, that I was too short, too small, too stupid, too dumb, couldn't read, illiterate, slow, ADD, ADHD, OCD, all the D's. Man, that's a lot of garbage in the mental garden, right? A lot of weeds in there. Well, the goal is, if you've got those weeds, it's never too late to dig those doggone things up, but we got to work on it together, digging those things up. Counting on one another, right? And then the most important thing, once we get them dug up, plant the right seeds. But then what I try and do on the show here is be as transparent as possible to say, I've struggled with all those things. And I, to a degree, still struggle with all those things, but I'm constantly working on it. And all I know is the more that I not only talk about it on my show and the video blogs and in speeches and presentations, but the more research and books I read, audible books I listen to, workshops I attend, and I find out that more and more people, yeah, we're all the same here. We struggle with that. Nobody really likes rude, mean, ugly, disrespectful, dishonest behavior, especially if it's being thrown at us, right? Yeah. So back to the question: Do you have to show up to every fight? I used to think I did. I really did, and it's tempting. The fight is what kind of got me to where I'm at now. I talk about that a lot on previous episodes and on the video blogs on the YouTube channel. It was every time somebody told me I couldn't do something. I mean, it planted some negative seeds in there, but I was going to use that as my Bobby Boucher from The Waterboy, my tackling fuel, to say, you know what? I'll show you. Screw you, man. I'll show you. I can freaking do it. And it was my Bobby Boucher tackling fuel. I'd go out of my way to prove people wrong. One, well, it was my motivation. But it got to the point where, man, oh man, I'm fighting battles I didn't need to be fighting. I'm spending and actually wasting. You know, when I think with spending, you want to spend something, invest on something that's an investment in your life, right? But when you're wasting money, just throwing it away, and I mean, you would never intentionally do that. We sometimes do. But think about time, the most sacred commodity. If you're wasting time on fights you shouldn't be involved in, and of course, the question I get asked all the time is, well, how do I know which fights I should show up for? Well, the way I look at it, is this going to help you? Is it going to benefit you? Is it going to benefit your family? Is it going to benefit your mission? Is it going to help whatever your mission is? Mine's empowering others to believe in themselves. Is it going to help them? Or is it all going to be serving my own ego? Saying, hey, well, I showed that person. They thought they could pick on me, gosh darn it. And I'm not saying let anybody abuse you or take advantage of you or bully you or pick on you in any way, shape, or form. And if someone is blatantly doing something disrespectful, yes, you do need to stand up for yourself. However, on social media, the keyboard warriors, well, there's a much easier way. Love, block, and delete. I've talked about that countless times before. And love, block, and delete is a simple thing I learned from a buddy of mine, Professor Brandon Beliso. So a shout out to Brandon. He's a avid listener. He's been on the show, my goodness, 4 or 5 times. Oh, which reminds me, hopefully I'm putting the list together now. We're going to start having guests back on the show in August. And so I want to make sure it's consistent, not just a guest here and there, but have weekly guests on too. So look forward to that coming soon. Anyway, his little philosophy on love, block, and delete is this. Love everybody because God says we're supposed to, right? Yeah. But also, most importantly, love yourself enough not to waste your time, energy, most sacred commodities, on knuckleheads online. So love yourself enough to block and delete those people and move on. You don't need to argue with him. You know, I've already said you can't jump through many times as I wanted to, jump through the screen and the device and punch somebody in the face. I know I snorted there. I probably shouldn't be saying that. That's just the honest to goodness truth. Like I said, it was deep wounds, man. Going to be rude to me? All right, now I'm going to show you because I truly believe there should be a consequence for rude, mean, disrespectful, bullying behavior. But unfortunately, online, there is none. And unfortunately, a lot of times in society, people are not held accountable. That's why we've got the mess we've got in society right now. There's no accountability for actions. If there was accountability, there was consequences, people wouldn't do the things that they do, right? Yeah, if someone said something mean, rude, and disrespectful, and they got, reprimanded or popped in the chops or something. I mean, I'm going to, here's something I've said many, many times. You've probably heard it before. And you probably think, dang, dude, you're acting awfully violent here. Well, I'm just speaking the truth here. I control myself. I never jump through the screen because I can't. But at the same time, a little life lesson I always like talking about, I don't know if it's a philosophy or not. Yeah, I'm going to say it is. It's my philosophy. Is the reason we've got so many jerks who do these rude, mean, disrespectful things is because they've never been held accountable. They've never had a consequence. If someone was rude and mean, they were bullying someone else, and they got popped in the mouth, and they're like, ow, that hurt. Well, I would have to think the next time before they started doing something rude, mean, disrespectful, or bullying somebody, they would think, well, dang, last time I did that, man, I got hit. That's, I don't know. I don't want to do that anymore. Well, overall, you probably help that person, right? Yeah. But am I saying the solution is to go around punching people in the mouth? No, I'm not saying that's a solution at all. I'm just being honest how I sometimes feel inside. But I've also got to be rational about it, and I've rationalized that obviously there would be a consequence to my action of doing that. So you got to weigh it out. But that's why I love the philosophy of the love, block, and delete so much online, because you can just get rid of it. All right, how about the next question? Does every comment and reply need your attention? Well, I think you know the answer to that based on everything I just talked about. No, it does not. Love, block, and delete. Get rid of it. How about this question? Do you need to spend your most sacred commodity, time and energy, on people who, for whatever reason, feel the need to be mean, rude, ugly, and disrespectful? Well, of course, the answer to that's a resounding no. You know that. But what about in real life when people are rude, mean, and disrespectful? Yeah, if you can't avoid them, then you need to ask them to stop. Tell them. That's where we talk about your tiger's eyes and your lion's voice and your bold, courageous posture. Don't let someone abuse you, pick on you. If you're in a relationship that's happening, you need to talk about it. Part of the C in the ABCs to become bully-proof is communicate clearly and confidently. Tell them how it makes you feel. Now, don't whine and complain about it. Nobody likes to hear that. I share all the time and it's part of my book there, Becoming Bully-Proof. And the example we give is if a kid goes up and whines every day to the teacher, oh, Johnny's being mean to me. Oh, Tracy called me a bad name. Oh, he looked at me funny. Well, it's whine and complain. The teacher's never going to listen. They're just not, because they hear it thousands upon thousands upon thousands of times a day. So what we talk about is communicate clearly and confidently. Use your tiger's eyes. That's your eyes that look like a tiger, the intensity of a tiger. And your lion's voice, which is the ferocious, empowering voice of a lion, not stop talking to me like that. That's not ferocious. It's stop talking to me like that, and I mean it. That's being ferocious. That's being courageous. And that's standing up and letting them know enough is enough. And the key to that is stopping it early before it gets to the point where it's so out of control that, one, you don't have any confidence left, and two, you're not able to do anything. But back to the keyboard warriors on social media, love, block, and delete, right? Yeah. So I said this is the common challenge for me to battle because it's something that I would and have spent way, way, way too much time on. And there's no good ever comes from it, because now you're engaged in a battle with someone who probably has more time than you have. They probably have nothing better to do. And a buddy of mine I was engaged in, I'll tell you this story in just a little bit, and you've probably heard it before, but our new listeners haven't. And it's a nice refresher, saying how silly it was that I wasted so much time on this knucklehead online. But in the midst of it, a buddy of mine sent me a Facebook message saying, hey, man, just a reminder, this is who you're arguing with right now. And it was like a meme of a big Homer Simpson looking dude with a big old belly with a black belt barely wrapped around it, with Doritos all over his face, all over his chest, and Dorito powder on his face with, Mountain Dews sitting on the desk. And I was like, that's who you're arguing with. They got nothing better to do, probably living in their parents' basement. And here you are wasting your time that you could be spending empowering others, doing a podcast, a video blog, writing another book, putting together a program, or spending time with your kids, your wife and family. Something other than wasting time on social media with this knucklehead. Does that help you a little bit? I want to paint that picture. So the reason I bring this up, and Addicts had this topic listed. I just did a YouTube video that hasn't launched yet. It'll launch in the next week or so, but it's the very same title, To Fight or Not to Fight, Navigating Social Media and Keyboard Warriors. And it's good. The message is similar, but I keep those messages down to usually under 10 minutes. But the pictures, the images, and the music behind it, and the pop-ups, man, they're powerful. That's why I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our YouTube videos. But anyway, I was tempted here because just the other day, I noticed that I got it was a bad one. An extremely horrible, just mean, hateful, ugly book review. And it's our first negative one ever. We've got over 60 reviews on our Becoming Bully-Proof book on Amazon. So obviously, if you've bought the book, or if you haven't bought the book, go to Amazon, check it out. The links are in the description, and read it. It's for kids about 9 to 15 years old, but I encourage the parents to read it too. And the book's all about me as a 12-year-old meeting me 40 years later. And we go on a journey where the older me is teaching the younger me everything I wish I would have known about standing up for myself, about believing in myself, about not allowing others to bully me. But it all started, I had to defeat the bully with my own mind before I could defeat the bullies in real life, right? Yeah. And I talk about growing up on the farm and having all the chores on the farm, and talking about, being a hockey player and wanting to play in the NHL. And it's good. I it's all true. Every story in there is absolutely true, and it's the older me teaching the younger me. So writing the book was a fun little challenge there, because I was going back and forth between who I am now and who I was as a kid, lacking that confidence, and then knowing those pains and struggles. And boy, I tell you what, typing some of that stuff, writing it up, really got emotional, because I was reliving and reopening those scars, and it was tough. But I did that because it needed to be done in order to be transparent and hopefully help someone else out there that's going through the exact same thing. And it may not be, wanting to quit hockey, but it may be wanting to quit another sport, or quit if you're in a band, or you're a musician or whatever. And then the worst thing was wanting to give up on life, thinking that nobody cared, nobody would miss me. It was pretty rough. But anyway, it's in the book there. So check that baby out. And then, of course, if you love it, like it, encourage someone else to pick up a copy as well, and then leave that 5-star review if you would, please. And take the time to write out a review, because what that does is this negative review, which I'll talk about in just a little bit here, it'll help bury that thing, right? Yeah, because I actually sent a thing to Amazon to report it, but I doubt that anything will be done to remove it. But anyway, it was a pretty horrible review. If you want to see it, you can go check it out. I'll read it for you in just a minute here. But I want to talk about, before we get to that, the other story where I mentioned wasted time on social media battling with some guy. And here's just a recap of some of the other, comments that I've had in the past, that unfortunately a lot of them I chose to fight battles, and I can't win. I cannot win those battles. For now, I do my best to choose to fight battles that I can win with people. And the battles I'm talking about now is trying to create better programs, better podcasts, better YouTube videos, better presentations and speeches and workshops. Yeah, that's the battles I want to fight now, is how can I get better to empower more people, instead of fighting with people online that, for whatever reason, here's the thing, as a reminder, hurt people hurt others. People that are abused in their own mind, unhappy with themselves, they do what they can, misery loves company, to bring others down. Now, why do they do that? Well, it's because they're hurt inside, and they feel the only way is to bring someone else down so they can feel powerful about themselves. I often talked about, and this is kind of off the little tangent, but to bring it all together here, when I taught the women's self-empowerment workshops at our martial arts academy, it was all about empowering the women that came in there with what I like to call the warrior princess confidence. And what I meant by that was, they're a princess, they're beautiful, you're always going to be that. But I wanted you to leave there with that warrior confidence that nobody ever better put their hands on you or disrespect you in any way, shape, or form. And then I would talk about, a lot of times in rape cases, it's not about the sex, it's about the power. So weak-minded people do what they can to overpower somebody else in a physical, aggressive form, or even verbally, mentally, spiritually. Why? Because they feel if they're able to put somebody else down, it's able to lift themselves up. It's able to help them feel better about themselves. Now, does it work? No. It's a temporary hit of, I guess, like a dopamine hit. It's like, oh, I'm powerful, I'm good. No, you're not. And they realize it's false. But that's the way they do it, and it's been going on since the beginning of time, of course, but that's what it's all about. So anyway, some of the disrespectful things, I remember the one I've talked about probably the most, is I posted a video, and I was really happy with it, on some different combos. It was a jab cross and then duck out of it so you can work your legs, your abs, and then also your shoulders, chest, and back with a simple jab cross combo, a punch, and then you duck out of it and you come back. And I was talking about the making it, yes, it could definitely be used in a combative situation, but think about how you can get more of an exercise and fitness out of a basic jab, punch, kind of slide, duck out. What I mean duck out is you're ducking under a hook punch that's coming at you. Anyway, I posted it, and all kinds of people like, hey, thank you very much for sharing this. Oh my gosh, I'm going to use this in my class tonight. Oh, I never thought I could use it for this. Oh, my legs were burning. Oh, my abs were burning. Oh, my chest and shoulders, thank you. And I get one guy that says, I laugh every time I say it, that's the worst dang thing I've ever seen. I hope you're not, your students have got to be the worst students on the planet, because if you're sharing that with them, they're never going to be able to defend themselves properly. And I mean, he went on a tirade. Holy cow. And all I did was, and I should have ignored it, but I just typed back, And then, of course, I checked out his profile, and he's ripping everybody, so I should have known right off the bat. Don't waste your time. So there's another thing. Somebody gives you a negative comment. If you want to see what their life is all about, go to their profile page and you'll see. If anything, you may feel sorry for them, but doesn't give them the right to be rude to you. But anyway, I just said, hey, man, thanks for your feedback. Please kindly post your techniques so we can all learn together. And his reply back was, oh, my stuff's too deadly. If I posted that, then I'd be locked up in jail. Besides, you're not man enough or tough enough to handle this, because this is what a real martial artist does, and this is what a real man does. And once again, should have let it go. But I typed back, I'm humbled by all your toughness and knowledge and wisdom and something else. And then his next reply was, now you've really proven what kind of man you are, because no man that I know ever uses the word humble. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, where do you go from there, right? Holy cow. And just for those that don't know, in our martial arts academy, humility is the number one black belt principle. Why? It's something that I need to continuously working on. But also humility is, as Socrates says, all I know is I know nothing. I am willing to learn from absolutely everybody in order to get better. But it doesn't mean I'm going to be gullible and disrespected by everybody either. But humility is to me, it's a strong character trait of being humble enough to say, I didn't know that. Okay, I'm willing to learn. But for this guy to say, now you've really proven what kind of man you are, because no man I know uses the word humility. I was like, okay, I'm done. What am I going to do here? But this was, I don't know how many years ago. So I don't know. I kept at it because it was on Facebook, and I'm trying to defend my honor, right? Fighting a battle that showing that I'm right and he's wrong and da-da-da-da. Next thing I know, we've got like 15 comments going back and forth, and now he has sucked me in to this fight. That's my own fault. I mean, you think about fishing, right? What do you do when you fish? You try and trick the fish, right? You try and bait them in, get them on the hook. Once you got them on the hook, man, you reel them in. Well, that's what that guy did to me. He reeled me in. And then I was engaged in this fight, and now, being a fighter, I was like, I ain't going to lose this thing. It was terrible. Next thing I knew, like I said, we're 15 comments deep. It's on this post that had a lot of positive. And look at my watch. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been at this an hour? Are you kidding me? I just gave up an hour of my life that I'll never get back. An hour of time I probably could have been spent with my family or my kids, or it was at night, so it was sleeping. So an hour sleeping would have been far more of a better investment than wasting it on that guy. Because what happens? Now I'm not sleeping very well because I've got, all the adrenaline pumping through my veins. I'm in fight or flight mode. I'm ready to dance. I can't jump through the screen and fight him for real. Not that I would suggest doing that, but that's what happens. And of course, I didn't sleep very well. The next day I'm mad. I'm frustrated. I can't stop thinking about it. Do you kind of see where this goes? Yeah. So to fight or not to fight? Well, obviously I shouldn't have fought. And then finally, after enough was enough, I just, I felt like I lost the battle, but I finally wised up enough just to delete all his stuff and block and delete that guy. So I never had to deal with that knucklehead again. Is that easy to do? Well, hopefully after hearing that story, you think, gosh darn, why didn't you do it, and saved yourself the time? Well, sometimes I'm a little slow. That's why I talk about these things. But other things, and then this is going to show you the absurdity of some of the things. I did a bat break with a good friend of mine, Master Chip Townsend. He's a wonderful human being, so shout out to Chip there. Well, he worked with him, and he taught me how to break a baseball bat with my shin, doing a shin kick, and it was fabulous. I did one, and then I did another year with Austin, my oldest son. He went and did it as well, and it was fantastic. And actually, Chip wrote the foreword to my book, Becoming Bully Proof, because he was bullied as a kid. He's got a prosthetic eye, but man, he holds, oh goodness gracious, 5 or 6 world records for breaking, like bricks and concrete and boards. And I mean, he's just amazing. And he's like a 15-time world breaking champion. He's been on ESPN before doing the breaking shows, but he's an incredible guy. But actually, Chip's the one that sent me the Facebook message when I was arguing with this knucklehead and saying, hey, this is who you're arguing with. Remember that. Quit wasting the time. But anyway, we worked together. He showed me how to do the bat break, where you can break a baseball bat with your shin, which, a baseball bat is a lot. If done improperly, you will break your shin bone. or your foot or who knows what else. But he showed me how. We did it. And I was so happy, so proud. I posted it. And, man, all the hundreds of comments and likes and, dude, how do you do that? Please show me. And da-da-da. And I said, well, I work with Chip Townsend. He'll show you. That's his specialty. But there was one or two that said, oh, your technique's terrible. Oh, you broke it there. Oh, that's easy to do. Why don't you break 5 bats next time? That's easy. Anybody can break 1 bat. I'm like, oh, my gosh. So I bring that up because people are going to do those things. You put yourself out there on social media, you're always going to have somebody that's throwing yuckiness back your way. Same thing with brick breaks. I broke, my record is 7 2-inch patio tiles, landscaping bricks, or what are they, 16 inches long by 2 inches thick. And I broke 7 of those, and the comments were, oh, why'd you use spacers? Oh, if you're really a man, you'd have broke 15. Oh, bricks don't hit back. I've heard that so many times. That's from the old Bruce Lee movie, Enter the Dragon. And Bruce Lee says, very good, but board not hit back. So every wannabe martial artist throws that at me. Oh, good, but boards don't hit back. Bricks don't hit back. Baseball bats don't hit back. Well, I'll tell you, the truth is, if you don't break them the first time, they do hit back because energy goes either out or back. Meaning, doing the brick break, I mean, when I was first learning how to do that, I learned that from my instructor, Sabadim George Bands, and then over in Korea, it was, I didn't get through all of them. And that energy came right back through my body and rattled my molars, man, and it hurt. And I've had many failed attempts at breaking bricks and boards. And of course, that's how you learn. You don't give up. It's a failed attempt, not a failure, just like everything else in life. Just because you have a setback or a challenge or a failure, or just because you argue with some knucklehead on social media, doesn't mean you failed at being disciplined. It just was a learning experience, right? But anyway, yeah, to answer that question, they do hit back because that energy goes somewhere. It either goes out the bottom or through the break, or it comes right back and rattles you. So, but anyway, from that, and then I posted videos of our demo team doing a form, which was really, really cool. A form is kind of, in martial arts, we call them hyung, which is a Korean word, but they're called katas. And it's almost like a synchronized fighting sequence is basically what it is. But they put it together, and they had some fighting sequences in there and some weapons in there. And, you put it out there once again, and everybody's like, oh, well, that's not real fighting. Oh, well, that's not real. Oh, and that self-defense, that wouldn't work in the real world. And I once again used to say, well, you know what? Come to the studio and check it out. Now, we'll work on this together. Of course, it's my challenge to them. But nowadays, is it worth it? No, I bring all that up because it is absolutely not. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't mean I can't accept constructive criticism. I know by all means I'm not perfect. I don't have everything figured out. I'm humility, right? Number 1 black belt principle, humility. I am still learning. And I'm willing. If somebody said, hey, did you ever think about trying it this way? Or, hey, I'm having a breaking clinic. Come check this out. Okay, I'm willing to learn. But when somebody goes on there just to blast you, to try and bully you, to make themselves feel better, don't mess with it. Whatever you may do, I know you're probably, I've got a lot of martial artists that listen, so definitely, if you know in your heart your technique is solid, you know in your heart you're teaching something that will protect your students, you know in your heart that what you're doing is the right thing, man, just disregard all that nonsense. And I got several friends that in the fitness industry, and they mentioned, you put stuff out there, you're always going to get critiqued. And unfortunately, the martial arts industry and fitness industry, because anybody can say anything and claim anything. Everybody's a personal trainer nowadays. Everybody's a master martial artist nowadays. Everybody's a master instructor nowadays. People can claim whatever they want. It's unfortunate, but that's its reality. So, listeners, that if you're looking for a martial arts academy, of course, if you're in the Edwardsville, Glen Carbon area, Goshen Academy of Martial Arts, it's our former academy, Grogan's Martial Arts. Nathan's running that, and he's doing a fantastic job. He was with me 17 years, so he understands all the principles and values, and he's going to do a great job with you. And others, you can go to the website, Grogan's Martial Arts, our website, and I've got a, what do you call it? What is that? Was it frequently asked questions? Yeah, FAQs. So frequently asked questions, and it's also a suggestion. If you go into a martial arts academy, these are the things you need to be asking and find out. Are they just teaching you how to fight and hurt people, or is it a life skills character development program? Is there practical self-defense and what they teach there? Well, the same thing. If you're looking for a personal trainer or a personal fitness trainer, and you go into a gym, kind of find out, dig deep, find out their qualifications, and then, also, it's one of those. I always thought when you pick out a doctor, similar, you pick out a personal trainer, make sure they practice what they preach. If you go to a doctor and they are just, not in the best of shape, it doesn't mean maybe something happened to them. But if they're telling you, you need to lose weight, you need to watch your diet, you need to exercise more, but yet they're not a symbol of that, think twice about it, right? Yeah, got to practice what you preach. And the same thing for my friends in the fitness industry. Make sure you're continuing to exercise, work out, watch your nutrition as well, because, the people, they want to model what you're doing. So anyway, kind of drifted off a little bit there, but I think it brought up some good points that, was a nice reminder for myself, and of course, shout out, I was going to talk about this later, but, I've been using this app called Fitbod, the exercise and fitness app, and holy smokes, my workout partner, Dave Hendrickson, he's a rock star, and I've got a little thing, I might as well talk about that right now so I don't forget, but we've got 14 days in a row going. We've had 28 out of 35 days of working out. Fantastic. And we were just talking last night, and he brought up something, and I kind of put this under a section of questions from listeners because I've got a few of them here. But David said, hey, why do diets not work? Why do diets not work? And, it's a question a lot of people ask. Well, I've tried a diet. I tried this. I tried that, and it just doesn't work. Well, he said something I actually had never heard before. Diets don't work because the first three letters of diet are what? D-I-E. Die. People pretty much die or try and kill themselves to have a diet because you're trying to change something from what you've done for who knows how long, and now suddenly you're going cold turkey and you're just not going to eat this anymore. You're not going to eat that anymore. You're not going to do this anymore. You're not going to go through the drive-thru anymore. Now, I encourage all those things, right? Don't stop going through the drive-thru. Stop, eating whole cases of Haagen-Dazs ice cream or whatever ice cream you eat there. Doesn't mean you can't have those things, but you've got to make, if you try and go from, so many thousands upon calories a day, and then suddenly you're not doing any of that anymore, you're going to be miserable. You have to take it in stride. I always like to say, whatever shape, your fitness level, whatever it is right now, that did not happen overnight. Good or bad, it didn't happen overnight. And but right now it's time to change it. Just know you're in for the long haul. You're not just I'm going to lose 10 pounds this weekend and that's it. I mean, believe it or not, when I was doing personal training way back in the 90s, they had a thing, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was this orange drink, and I'm sure they still got something similar, that if you drank this, you could lose, just like that snap, 10 pounds over the weekend. Just drink this 2-liter bottle and you'll lose 10 pounds. Well, I don't know if it's true or not, but the only thing I can think of is this was like a what do you call it, Miralax, or a what do you got to take before you go to get to the exam? Goodness gracious, what is that stuff? Colon blow 5,000, I don't know, but that's what it was, I'm sure. Yeah, you could lose those 10 pounds, but you're never getting off the toilet the whole weekend. Now, is that really healthy? Absolutely not. Man, it's terrible for your body. So as much as you want to get in good shape, and I applaud you, and hopefully you do, to start slowly but surely chipping away at it and then tracking that. Don't kill yourself by trying a diet just for this week or next week. Watch your calories, cut back. It's definitely stay out of the drive-through line. I know you're like, oh, I'm just too tired to make food. I'm too tired to go to the store. I'm too tired to do this and that. Well, here's the cycle that comes off of that, and this is a whole nother episode, but we'll briefly talk about it here. If you're too tired to make dinner and you're running your kids everywhere, I get it. But what happens is you drive through the drive-through line. It's usually late at night. You eat that food, which is garbage, and that night you don't sleep very well. Your stomach's growling and all kinds of other stuff. And then you go to bed. Well, your digestive system is the hardest working system in your body. So if your digestive system is working overtime trying to process all the unnatural stuff and drive-through food, right? Well, you don't sleep very well. So the next day you wake up even more exhausted than you were before. So you thought you had no energy yesterday. Well, now today it's even less. So what happens? You fall back into that same cycle and you end up doing it again. And then before you know it, you've drifted off the path and you're at drive-through 4 or 5 nights a week. It happens. So we got to be careful. That's the drift. And I'm guilty of it. I got caught up in that drift, and before I knew it, I had, and this is something I've shared a little bit before, and I'm going to share more on upcoming podcast about my journey that I'm on right now, but I got up to 199.9 pounds. Now, I know for most men that's really not a whole lot of weight, but I'm 5'7", and that was a lot of extra weight for me to move around. And playing competitive hockey again, it was tough, right? And I just didn't feel good about myself. And I'm talking about all these things. I can't be a hypocrite. I knew I needed to work on them, but it was tough because that drift had happened. And that's I've talked about the drift on many other shows, but it's going to be something I'm going to revisit coming up here real soon, because it's an important part of staying on track, important part of the not only physical health, but the mental and spiritual health as well. So anyway, I want to give Dave a quick shout out because I appreciate the workouts, and we got a good thing going there, and we're really kicking some butt, setting records, and getting stronger and more ripped and cut. So my 199.9 at when did I weigh in? It was in May, the end of May. Well, as of today, or yesterday actually, I didn't weigh myself today, but yesterday it was 188.4. Yeah. So good stuff there, and I'll talk more about that as we move forward. But anyway, since I'm on this section of my podcast here, it's kind of a new section. Questions from listeners. Buddy Greg reached out and says, do you feel like working out daily? And do you feel like, another person had asked, doing social media posts daily? And the answer to both of those is no, I do not. But I do it. And have an accountability partner, and Dave's been the accountability partner, it truly helps out. It really does. And then the social media post, I always working on discipline. Sometimes I get on there and jump down a rabbit hole and wish I wouldn't have. So I need to be more disciplined about setting my post out in advance. I've been playing with this app called Hootsuite, and you can schedule your post in advance, and I need to do more of that. And another question was, tomorrow, by the way, or it depends on when you listen to this, but my birthday's 7/11, baby, and I'll be 53. And one other friend, Charles, asked, what are you doing for your birthday tomorrow? And what am I doing for my birthday? Well, I'm going to spend time with the family, and we're going to go to the beach and go grab some dinner, and it's going to be a good birthday. I'll be 53 years old. So, wow, that sounds 53. That's just I'm just a young man. Good. All right. So, hey, back to the show here, because I want to definitely talk about, I kind of tempted you earlier, or teased you a little bit earlier, about the horrible review that I got on Amazon. And, part of me, sometimes it's hard not to take reviews personally, especially when that person personally attacks you, and it's exactly what this person did. But I also got to remember I've got over 60 reviews on my book, Becoming Bully Proof, all 5 stars, except, well, I guess a couple 2 stars. No, 3s. Yeah, there we go. But anyway, 60 positive reviews, most of them 5 stars, 90%, and then one star review. And then this person went ahead and wrote, it's ugly. I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. So if you've read my book, if you love it, please jump on there. And how we do this is we bury these reviews. So those that are in business, you just ask your people that give honest reviews to bury the negative ones. But here's I'm not going to mention the person's name. If you go on there and read it, you can see the person's name. It's a 1-star review, and it says, hypocritical. Okay? Or I can't even talk here. Hypocritical. But I think she spelled it wrong. Yeah, it's spelled hypocritical. It's not hypocritical. But anyway, yeah, it's like, do I know how to read here? Anyway, writing a book, but he's hypocritical. He doesn't know how to write. But anyway, it says this. It says, I took my kids to train at the author's studio. Gave him a heads up that one of my kids has special needs. Grogan said, no problem. Within 2 weeks, Grogan was watching my child like a hawk, who never acted up in class, just needed extra support and guidance, and then said to me directly that we shouldn't train there. Well, just for verification, I don't recall seeing this person. I'm not saying they never came to our academy, but I don't recall ever seeing that name. And then I don't know that I've ever told somebody directly that they shouldn't train there. There have been incidences in the past where we're just not the right fit, meaning nothing bad. But what I mean by not the right fit is the kids come in and all they want to do is fight, and we're trying to teach life skills and character development and leadership training. And I'm not just going to, because that was a big thing. People come in, oh, I want to learn how to be an MMA fighter, an ultimate fighter. I said, well, I'm going to teach you how to protect yourself. I'm going to teach you all the punches and kicks, but I'm going to teach you how to be a leader. And if you're bullying somebody at school, then you're no longer going to be a part of the academy. So, but anyway, I don't know. I don't remember this person, but I've never told somebody there directly they shouldn't train there unless it was an abusive. I guess we did have a kid, my gosh, this was 20 years ago, that kept biting everybody in line. And, we mentioned there's certain things I can do to help kids, but there are other things I can't. But anyway, to continue on with the review, she said, it's no surprise, as I later learned, that it was well known in town that Grogan only wanted a certain kind of student and not disabled. Well, that's an absolute lie. We have, I don't know how many students that we've accommodated that have actually went on, a good majority of them, with whatever disabilities they may have had, mental, physical, emotional, and gotten their black belts. Yeah. So, and then she went on to say, he only promotes diversity to superficially appear accepting while quietly weeding us out of his studio. His message is anti-bullying, and we, and many other families, you always know when they say that, and many other families in town, found him to be the ultimate bully. Found me to be the ultimate bully. That's what it says. And then she says, he sold his studio and moved to Florida. No surprise, since Florida has some of the, ready for this, Florida has some of the most bullying, restrictive laws and policies in the country that favor, and then there's a blank here, males. Then the last comment says, there is no way anyone should teach their kids this master's values. So when I read that, I mean, it was a gut punch. And of course I go through and I'm like who the heck? So I looked this person up online. I'm like, man, I don't remember ever seeing that person. And I asked my wife, was that person at the studio? She goes, I don't recall that name either. And she goes, and I know that, for the last couple of years we were there, I wasn't at a whole lot of classes anymore. I pretty much had my son and Nathan running the studio, and I know they would never say something like that. I mean, I was the one that would have to come in and say if a child, wasn't the right fit, which, like I said, I haven't had to do that in a long, long time, and that was only because that kid was biting everybody, and I don't think this is them. But then to go on to say that, I'm a bully and that I don't work with kids with disabilities, and that I moved to Florida because it's the most bullying, restrictive laws and policies in the country that favor males. Oh my gosh. But like I said, I read it and it was a gut punch. And then of course it made me mad. And of course I wanted to look her husband up and say, look, you need to get control of your wife, or it's of course that's not the right thing to do either. I get that. But those are the things that went through my head. Now, is there anything I can do about this? Well, I reported the comment to Amazon, like I said, but I doubt that they take it down because, well, they probably just won't. But what I can do now is I can realize that, look, I know in my heart that what she said there is not true at all. I don't want to blatantly call somebody a liar, but it's not true. There's no way. I spent my whole life helping and empowering kids to stand up to bullying. Why? Because I know how horrible it feels to be bullied, to be disrespected. And we've all got our shortcomings. We all got our ailments or disabilities, if you will. None of us are perfectly made. Me knowing what mine are, there's no way in heck I would do that. I would empower kids. I've given, I don't know how many thousands of speeches on it, wrote a book on it, got a program on it. But so why did the lady write the comment? I don't know. I mean, judging by the end of it there, about ripping Florida, obviously, I guess that's, I don't know what she thinks is bullying and restrictive about Florida. And yeah, I absolutely love Florida. I'm so glad I'm here. But it just goes to show you that you cannot, whatever you do, always make everyone happy. Which you can do. And believe it or not, as mad as I was about it, I said a prayer for her. Because obviously that person needs a prayer. Needs a prayer. I don't know what they're going through in their life that would cause them to go on an Amazon and, write something like that would give a stain on everything I've tried to do. I mean, like I said before, our business won Business of the Year years ago. And, but anyway, the reason I brought all that up is I was mad. I was frustrated. I was hurt. I was ticked. But am I really going to fly back to Illinois and confront her husband? No. So the initial question, do I have to show up for every fight, especially on social media? No. I've got over 60 positive reviews, 100. I mean, now the fans and friends and everything on social media. I just ask that, hey, if you read the book, you've loved it, found value in it, jump on there, give a review. Let's bury that review and get it out of there. I mean, it'll always be there, but at least it won't be on the top as the newest review. And that's how we combat that. And the same thing. Hopefully that's a helpful strategy for you if you're dealing with some keyboard warrior or someone who said something horrible, mean, rude, disrespectful, or ugly to you. There's better ways to handle it, and you can do it. Once again, collectively, know that, one, we're working together, but two, you can't be everything to everyone, regardless what you do. Good. The show help. Those things kind of help, the things I was talking about there, being transparent and honest. Good. Well, a couple of shout-outs. I already give a shout-out to FitBod. Definitely give them another one. My wife's business, Beachside Blend. They're hoping to start September 1st, and I'll list dates, and it's going to be a coffee truck is what her and her business partner, they're going to sell, what was I going to say, like cold coffee, hot coffee, Lotus drinks, and then these essential oils. Oh my gosh, they got a great thing going, and it's going to be exciting. I'll list the location, so if you're here in the Florida area, you can definitely stop by and see them. And of course, if you're in the Edwardsville, Glen Carbon area, Goshen Martial Arts, check out my buddy Master Nathan. He's a great kid. Well, he's like 28 now. Goodness gracious. I remember when he started, he was 10. But anyway, he's a great guy, and he's continuing to do a great job. And you heard I listed some questions from listeners, so if you've got some questions, feel free, send me a message there, and whatever the question is, we'll try and get to it. And also, if you've got, areas that maybe you're struggling with, and you're like, hey, man, how do you handle this? Or what do you do here? Or did you film an episode or record an episode about that? I'll definitely do my best to look that up and do that for you, because I appreciate your time staying with me and listening, and I want to do everything I can to not only answer your questions, but empower you and help you battle through the challenges of life or the keyboard warriors that may be trying to take pop shots at you. All right. Well, as always, stay empowered throughout the week by subscribing to our YouTube channel. It's a Warrior Confidence. Once again, the link is in the description box, and our Facebook and Instagram page. So make sure you subscribe to those. And, as I mentioned here, collectively, let's do what we can. The whole goal, make society a happier, healthier, and safer place to live, and kind of learn from my mistakes. Don't argue with people on social media that aren't worth arguing with, or even in real life. You can't win everybody over. We never know the battles other people are fighting. Just like that lady who gave me that ugly review. I don't know what she's going through. I mean, it doesn't make it right. What she did is absolutely wrong. And, I do believe there should be a consequence for that. But at the same time, we're all fighting battles. Who knows what's going on with that? But don't subject yourself to wasting too much time thinking about it or getting in an argument that maybe you have no need to be in, right? You don't have to show up for every fight or every challenge or every argument. Every time the bell rings, fighters, you'll get that. Every time the bell rings, you got to show up. Well, set that bell of showing up to help improve you today to be a better person than they were yesterday. Ring that bell tomorrow to show up to be a better person. Listen to podcasts like this, reading books, working out, designing your nutrition plan, whatever it may be to help better you to be the best you can be, not showing up just to fight somebody else. Good. All right. I know it's easy for me to say. It's stuff I still work with every day, but that's the reason I bring it up here. Hopefully it gives you some tips, suggestions, advice, some wisdom, some knowledge, something to help you become your very, very best, to be the best. Kind of my prayer every day is, God, please help me be the best father, the best husband, the best Christian, the best speaker, the best podcaster, the best YouTuber. Why? Those are the areas I want to be the best at. It's my God-given talents. Help empower people with warrior confidence to believe in themselves. Please grant me the tools to do that. That's kind of my prayer every day, and that's my mission and battle and fight is to be better at those things. So, couple updates on the programs. The kids program, it's kids who are looking for hope and self-confidence, who no longer believe in themselves and are being bullied. That we're chunking away at that, baby. We should have that out hopefully the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then the other program we're really excited about is the Warrior Confidence program for athletes who want to gain more self-confidence to perform better and excel at their sport. And I like to say, while at the same time developing qualities of a champion, to be a hero, to be a leader, to be a mentor, to be a champion, not a bully. Because unfortunately, a lot of times the kids that are bullied, it is the way it was when I was in high school and this and that. You got some of the jocks or the elite athletes were some of the meanest bullies. Well, my goal is to help them be champions and help out others, not bully others. Use their powers, so to speak, or their great athletic talents to help others, not to bully others. Once again, weak people bully others. People that don't feel good about themselves bully others. Happy, healthy people that feel good, real champions, real heroes, real leaders, real mentors, they're not bullying one another. It's the people that don't feel good about themselves. The same with the keyboard warriors we talked about. Good? All right. Well, folks, remember, we all have unique gifts from God, and we all have the power to be the hero of our own life and the lives of others. We just have to believe it. We truly do. So if you found value in this, please share it with someone that you know could benefit. Please give us that 5-star review. Please jump on over there, pick up a copy of our books. Links are in the description box. And until we talk again, keep believing in yourself, keep building your warrior confidence, and most importantly, you get out there and do what you do best, and I promise you'll be your very best. God bless you. God bless your loved ones. I can't wait to chat with you again real soon. Thanks again for listening, everybody. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye. Thank you so very much for listening today. I am truly grateful. My goal is to empower millions of people with hope, faith, and confidence to believe in themselves in order to make our society a happier, healthier, and safer place to live. But I can't do it alone. So if you found value in this message, please share it with someone else who could benefit from it, and by subscribing and leaving a 5-star review. Be sure to pick up copies of my books for yourself and someone you care about at www.warriorconfidence.com. Also, remember to stay empowered throughout the week by subscribing to our YouTube channel and our Facebook and Instagram pages at Warrior Confidence. Thank you again, and have a blessed day.